All right, everyone. We are back with the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Jolt, your chief host of the show, and joining me as always is none other than my co-host Noble.
Good morning.
You know, I think you probably had it better than us because up here, like you probably heard of the saying, "When it rains, it pours." And
Yeah, unfortunately, we've got a light rain down here at the moment, so yay!
oh, please, that is nothing compared to what we've had down here for the last couple of days. And if you're a bit up north of where I am, well, you prepare to drown.
Unless, of course, you got a boat.
Yeah, that or you get rescued at safety. I mean, yeah, feel for you, but when it floods, it's crazy down here. That's just my way of putting it. Hopefully, there's no crazy weather events down in the other part of the world where our 2-for-1 other panelists are from, as in Cam.
Hi.
It's good to have you back on the show again, both of you.
What's up? What's up?
I
Hope
hope you
everyone's
two aren't having some extreme, crazy weather events as of late
Yeah.
compared to us.
It went from really nice and warm out to now it is bitterly cold again. What the fuck?
Yeah, well, I mean, right now it went from raining like crazy to the sun's out. So it's a good change. So without any further ado, we have some things that we're going to go through first, and let's just say what are furries and people who are around furries up to now. So let's take a look.
My brick wall's ready.
Yes, that would be a fine thing to bash into. Daily Mail says senior Tory embroiled in quote unquote furry sex scandal after accidentally sending photograph of himself dressed as a dog into a work WhatsApp group.
Oh,
God.
no.
Wait, what?
Oh.
Wait, what up? Yo,
Right.
what?
What? I know
The
it's crazy, right? Like you go off, you do your job, and then bam, you send the wrong picture, right?
I mean, I've seen people draw some pretty questionable things on the walls at work, but a photo of yourself?
In
Oops.
Was
you
it
know,
like a sexual photo, or is it just him? Like photo is him in his like suit?
well, let's just have a quick read of it though. Senior Tory has been embroiled in a quote unquote furry sex scandal after a texting blunder. The politician accidentally sent a photograph of himself dressed as a dog being led on a leash to a group of colleagues on WhatsApp.
Oh my god.
Now, I'm questioning if this is furry or if this is that whole weird ass animal thing.
Oh, please, Noble. It's you know,
It's like
you could
pet
argue,
play,
you could take the
probably.
semantics angle, but let's be real. It's like, what difference does it make?
True. Wait, no. A theory was it, or that whole pup mask
Like
thing?
I said, what difference does it make?
I mean, pet play is pet play is more kink and fetish. Furry is more just like. Well, I mean, I guess it can be for some people, but for the majority, it's not really like kink or fetish.
Go look up footage of the first furry con, and you'll see a deer in basically stripper outfit.
Oh,
Yeah, I've seen that. That was I
I'm
was
actually
speechless.
surprised like people weren't clued in on what if that was the first Pokemon ever, people weren't clued in on what direction furry would go into. Still. Anyway, I still do love how the article just keeps drumming on about,
yeah.
as an animal as a sexual preference. Unfortunately, I don't think we will ever see that offending photograph in question because, they sort of reached, they quickly deleted it. and then all they had to think I says the assessment came that he's a furry. It was assumed he did this as a hobby rather than for innocent fun. And I was like, says I had to explain to the people what a furry was. Like, imagine that. Like, you go in, you send a picture of somebody and then like, what's this? Uh, he's he's dressed up like a dog,
Oh my
Oh,
god.
and then
Jesus.
it's like you go in there, you try to do explanation, and like what, and then now suddenly instant awkwardness. Like, imagine the scenario playing out in your head, will you?
Well, Senator. I
Yeah,
wish someone
especially
was
right.
quick
Like
with the
if you're,
screenshot.
I know, right? Like if you're a friggin' politician like that, like you'll be like instantly thing, right? And then now you just end up straight into the news if that happens. But you know what though? Then again, this is the weird country known as the United Kingdom after all.
Oh yeah, I mean, lots of weird shit happens over there.
Lots of crazy stuff happens over there too. Like that's just putting it lightly, but like imagine this, like you're in this career and then suddenly all that happens and now it's out and you're a furry. This isn't, mind you, this is not the first time that a politician has been found out that they're a furry because of whatever blunders or whatever, or combing through their social media.
Yeah, what was the other one that was exposed as a furry?
I think there was another politician in the US. I think Vermont or Massachusetts. That was like many years back.
Bro, furries in politics or as politicians. What
Bro,
do
if
you
you
mean?
like, I mean, think about it though. You know what though? The scary part is if with the current trend of modern politics, you may think it'd actually be more common than you think, especially if you look at certain parties. Right? Isn't that right? As in camp, if you look at like the Democrat Party, they'd most likely host the most likely party to host furries in them.
Most likely, yeah.
Well, well, yeah. I mean, there's more furries in like the Democratic like party at this rate. I mean, it's
Slowly
I
but
mean,
surely, some are coming to the.
but slowly but surely, some are coming like
Some are leaving the dark side.
no. I
and
mean, if you really wanted to
going
be
into the forest.
a
Yeah.
furry to succeed in politics, you'd probably have nowadays you probably have to put the "Make America Furry Again" as a sales pitch.
Oh my god, yes!
Yeah. That of course that would piss off the wokey furs, but who cares? Piss them off.
No,
Bro, we pissed them off on the daily. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
I mean, remember if they had. I know, right? It's kind of it has to be that way now. Otherwise, not no furry's ever gonna succeed in politics.
All right.
Yeah, but
I
no,
remember when the fandom used to not be political at all.
I know me, you and us all, But
Like,
yeah,
Those days
but
are long since past.
yeah, but
yeah.
what do you think down here, Noble? Like, which party you think would be host of most likely to have furries in their ranks? The Greens.
Probably not. I'd be expecting something more of one of the fringe groups out there in Australia.
True.
I could see maybe one or two of the Liberals, not the popular ones, more of the sort of like local ones.
Right.
Maybe there's probably like half of them.
Yeah, but they're the ones that got friggin' trashed in this election cycle. So funny how that works. Funny, let's just say Australian politics is weird, and that's
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
part of it. Yeah, not exactly super duper funny to make full sense of. Now, there's a lot more that furries have gotten up to once again in this wider cycle. So here's another thing that they've gotten up to now. Media Watch reviews myth about kids identifying as cats and dogs in schools again.
So that useless nonsense from America has more sort of wormed its way into Australia, and parents are apparently freaking out over the fact that kids want to. Some kids apparently want little. It's like, one, that's not furry. Two, these people think they're actual animals, not like Disney characters, for crying out loud. And three, apparently it's like utter bullshit. I love this.
I still can't believe it.
I seriously want to find out who that is.
They made laws in Oklahoma against like furries and stuff because
I
of
know.
all that.
I know
scandal.
we talked about this on the show, and it's the Furries Act. Oh, I remember that one.
Oh my lord.
What I found fascinating, at one point this show turned around and pointed out that a helicopter crash that apparently happened in Australia was filmed in America. You could tell by looking at the houses too. I love Media Watch. They sometimes point out the weirdest shit. Case in point.
And I still can't believe they had to go with this idea that there are children who want to be furries in schools. To that extent, it's crazy.
Well, if you want to prance around as a furry in school, make sure you're doing it during an event or free time, not during class.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what recess and lunch is like, but I do recall lunch having a longer period.
Yeah, that's usually the case in school. That's correct.
So hosting a particular event during like lunch is probably a better idea than just like, prancing around. But from what I've seen in public, I do know that a lot of people will wear like headphones with furry ears on it and that sort of shit.
Yeah,
That's what
which
we used to do. We just did stuff during like lunch and shit like that.
Right, exactly. Like you go and find a hidden little corner to go and hide, and river and all that. At that.
Though back in school, I was Therian, so we don't talk about that.
Ah, Therian, that's it.
Yeah, those are cringy. Those are even more furries.
I know, but the fact of the matter is, it's crazy to think that it's finally reached down here when there's nobody's really making a spark or a big peep about it down here. It's just one of those crazy American things.
We are a crazy bunch.
Okay, so something I want to point out at the bottom of the page here. However, the situation did later mention that the Education Department, the Catholic Schools Association, and the Independent Schools Association had all denied the claims being made were true.
Right.
Huh.
Right. It's crazy. Like you would think that it's either like this big uproar of a thing that, and nobody ever just like whatever.
Right.
But honestly, like the fact of the matter is, the fact that even children want to do this sort of stuff in school might be something a little worrying, don't you think?
Not really. To the extreme. Oh, this stuff, yes. Therium.
Yeah, theory, entropy, and other kinism, of course, yes.
But like I said, though, if they want to hold like a specific event during a break time or some special event, as long as it's done in a
Oh,
non-cringy manner.
dude.
But
I think you know
unfortunately,
where
people
where
these
I'd get a
days,
bit more concerning about me. You know how you remember the you remember the segment that we did about quadrobics, right?
yep.
Oh yeah, what if quadrobics was integrated into the school curriculum for PE, and then
No.
bam, for like physical education and sports, kids get to be furry like.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna
That,
ask for a new topic.
that's pretty much when it's gonna be. I know, I get you. That's
This
pretty
is
much where
getting
it's gonna go.
cringy.
Oh, duh.
I know. No, be
Yeah.
thankful we haven't reached that level yet, or even.
Yes.
I mean, we're getting close.
Oh God.
We're getting close.
No, no.
It's just a matter of when, unfortunately, when these crazies are going to think, or if the unsettling thing of quadrobius catches on down here. Hopefully not, but it seems to be a big thing up in Russia and that. So yeah. If you don't want that to happen, I guess you just go WTF. I love sanctions now.
I seriously have to wonder if some kids are going to find that news article and they're just going to try to go completely batshit crazy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Cringe. The
All right.
cringe.
Well, I think it's we'll get something new on to change the palette out a bit. So I think Noble, you'll like this one though. Here. All right. I know everybody's looking for there's people who are looking forward to the Switch 2, and the launch is going to be a bit rocky. But how about this? What if somehow you end up getting your shiny new Switch 2, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work no more
The whole thing.
because Nintendo basically decided to brick it.
Yeah, see, this is a bit of a concern. Now, if I could just make out what's written on here, Nintendo has warned that it will brick your Switch 2 for one fundamental reason. So you must proceed cautiously if you do the following path. Modding the console is nothing new. I remember a friend of mine having a modded original PlayStation in the 90s. So he could play imported games. Back then, consoles were region locked, unlike most systems of today. Consoles such as Sega Dreamcast were seemingly easy for those who knew what they were doing to crack, and today, cracking consoles is still very much a thing. And it's talking about watching the trailer.
Right. And remember,
At the bottom,
who remembers the day when you when you wanted more out of your finger and you decided to put a little mod chip or something.
Boombox!
How will this affect resales?
Question.
Oh, if
now,
yeah.
See, this is the big problem here. First off, Nintendo have admitted to putting something in that will brick the console itself through their servers. Now, my assumption is that you won't be able to resell the console because it will be quote unquote bricked. Joel, can you bring up the definition of what bricking means in?
Yeah, I was about to ask, what the hell is bricking?
Yeah.
Right. We'll have a look at what it means to a condition where a device such as a smartphone or a tablet becomes completely unusable and behaves like a brick.
So in other words, its functionality is basically gone.
Right, and it just basically becomes a square slab.
No looking at porn on your Switch 2, no playing games on your Switch 2, no chatting on your Switch 2. It boinked. And as Boombox brought up, you basically have people selling these consoles,
right?
And you won't realize until after the fact.
Yeah, people on Facebook Marketplace will be pissed. You probably the same, whatever retailer, secondhand marketplace, Craigslist, eBay, whatever.
Now,
You get the point.
there was another thing with the Switch itself, and this got people into a bit of a panic. So when it was discovered how to dump Switch games, what some people would do is they would dump the cartridge. They would take the serial number file or whatever the code was for the actual cartridge itself and keep it, and then they'd sell the game.
Mm-hmm.
So what would happen is that so someone would buy the game, they'd put it in there, and the rumor going around was that by playing the game online, your console would be banned.
Crazy to think, isn't it?
So if you purchased a secondhand game, there was a quote unquote chance that you could get your console banned simply because, well, the original owner kept a copy of it. That was a big rumor going around at one point. I remember seeing that going, fuck. But the other problem is that if it was in fact true, you'd have the issue of people working in stores being able to get a hold of the game cartridge, cloning it, and then putting it back on the shelf as it was brand new, just sort of like the googly eyes thing. That was funny. No, seriously, people were opening up Switch console games and they're finding no cartridge but a googly eye.
Well, that's funny. So
yeah, it is.
With this whole thing, like what spurred this whole thing, like it's actually part of Nintendo's terms of service and all that stuff, like the user agreements that they set.
Oh, if you break it, then you risk your
Right.
game.
If you use stuff that hasn't been sold by Nintendo, software-wise, you're fucked, basically.
Right.
They'll know about it and make sure your console doesn't work.
Yeah, like you can always, if you fail to comply with the foregoing restrictions, Nintendo may render the Nintendo account services and or the Nintendo device, the applicable Nintendo device, permanently unusable in whole or in part.
Now, the thing you should be concerned about here is that Nintendo have put in a bit of code that will kill the console and they can trigger it from their end. How secure is Nintendo services?
I don't know. We'll have a look and see. Like, when's the last time Nintendo and that had like a big data breach?
Uh-huh.
Right.
So what happens if some smart little asshole decides to worm their way through the Nintendo servers and then discovers this thing will brick someone's console, writes a script to then brick every bloody Nintendo console that's currently active? Thank you, Nintendo.
This is the problem that we have with like centralized thingo, right? With centralized control.
Yep. Now, I can agree with banning you from accessing the digital services. So, for instance, playing games online, potentially buying games online, but that means you won't be able to do anything with the console unless, of course, it's already installed on there. But to brick the console and to have that sitting on a server somewhere, anybody who doesn't like Nintendo, what's the first thing they're going to gun for?
Yawn.
Gonna try to brick everyone's console. I mean, shit, can you imagine the fallout of everybody's console permanently dying just because of a Switch in a computer?
Mm-hmm. I know it's crazy. Like,
I think I got it out of me now.
Yeah. Now, but the fact of the matter is, like, the other worrying thing that this precedent sets for all of us is like, if you really think about it, who really they're asking who really owns your Switch 2? It's a me, suggests Nintendo.
Is that
So
Mario breaking the TV? What the fuck?
yeah, he's blocking the TV. It's cool picture though. But yeah, if you really think about it, like if you've had all these control, if you had all this, and then Nintendo at the end of the day has the master controls to whether they can brick your Switch because of the whole, you doing something that they didn't like, then yeah, maybe you might have the physical product, but do you really actually own your Switch too? If it can be overridden, right? So that just brings us up to the question: is it let's face it though. I think you kind of understand that they're asking this because now you're we were basically in an era of like you don't actually own the stuff that you purchased, right? More so than anything else.
I really have to question whether or not Nintendo had kept with the original cartridge design, which is the game is kept on there, and instead added flash memory so updates could be applied to that and not just the console.
Right.
Yes, that could add some security issues. However, I would question whether or not people would have seen this as a more positive light because you don't require the bloody internet to play a damn game.
Exactly. I mean, you don't need internet to play. You actually have the game. It's like installed as data on the friggin' cartridge or whatever it is. But we don't Instead, it's like you get the cartridge, you download the game, and you have a license to play said game, and you don't technically quote unquote own the game.
I have to wonder whether or not the Switch 2 release will see the same issue as the Steam.
Right.
When Steam when Steam first came out.
Yeah, and then Steam had to they had to make a statement saying that this is a license to play said game.
No. The servers crashed.
Oh, yeah.
So when Half-Life 2 was released, everyone tried to download it, and well, the internet wasn't capable of keeping up. So if you could imagine a release of some big game title,
yeah,
Nintendo can't take the risk of people downloading the game before it's released because despite their best security that they could apply, people will still figure out a way of being able to play it early if they can download it.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen if a popular game gets released and everyone downloads it on the release day?
Can the servers keep up for one is the big thing. Like, can it handle all the data that's been downloaded, all of that stuff, and the and the demand for such a thing, like day one as well. Because if it doesn't, then yeah, oof. But yeah, but you know what though? This is one of those things when you realize, let's be real. Nintendo has pretty much been an ongoing thing because people will. It's not going to stop people from emulating it.
Yeah.
And and if this is the sort of thing that Nintendo's going to try and do, you're damn right. People are going to really, really work harder, and I want to emulate the Switch too. Sort of thing. So, yeah. But at least, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. Not that they can, they do much about it, though, but hey.
Yay for Nintendo going all modern on us.
It took them long enough to catch up, right? Like now, you don't own your games, you don't own your Switch, you don't own any of that.
They don't have a console that's stuck to basically the living room.
Yeah. I guess now the only thing we can really do is sing sea shanties, among other things.
I wonder if they're ever going to sell a Switch phone. No,
Early in the
seriously. Can
morning.
anyone imagine if Nintendo decides, well, you know what? Let's sell a Switch phone.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just have it so you can put your SIM card in there.
It's just a bunch of freaking mobile games and shit.
Yeah. See, exactly like you're thinking. That's how they do it. But yeah. So, we've got all this stuff. We've got all this time. So I reckon, like, I mean, we'll see what happens. Like, I guess we'll just wait and see how they launch, or if we're gonna, or if they're gonna, somebody's gonna basically get sold a brick Switch or whatever, like a flawed or anything. But let's see what happens. So, okay, next thing, Noble. I think this is something you've kind of wanted, and I think with what we've got, I think we have a big case of like we can absolutely do it. So let's
Yes.
do it though. I mean, next one. You speak like a common thug. Fortnite releases hotfix for cursing Darth Vader.
Yeah.
What?
So basically, what's happened is that Darth Vader's voice was released in an AI function, so it can say basically whatever you want. And yeah, Fortnite players be Fortnite players.
I know, right? I think this. Oops, it's okay. But you know what? It actually kind of worked in light of what's it called? Just it happening in the month of May, and you know what the month and May the 4th is? It is Star Wars Day. May the Force be with you. May the 4th be with you.
Nope.
Oops.
Careful, your camera's on.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Can we scroll down? Earlier this
Yeah.
month, Darth Vader was introduced to the game Fortnite as a boss in Battle Royale. As of last Friday, when the Star Wars Fortnite crossover event, Fortnite Galactic Battle was launched, players can play as the sinister Dark Lord if they can beat and recruit him. What makes the character so special is that he can respond in real time to your questions and remarks using conversational artificial intelligence, AI, blah. When he does, you'll hear iconic voices of James Earl Jones, the actor who voiced the galactic villain in Star Wars franchise. Ask him all your pressing questions about Force, Galactic Empire, or, good start for the last storm cycle. The Sith Lord has options. Shortly after the release, numerous videos appeared on the internet where you can clearly hear Darth Vader using profanity when a gamer asks Darth Vader what freaking fucking food he eats for nutrition. This is his answer.
Try to do it in his voice as well.
I can't do that.
Fuck. Such vulgarity does not become you, Padme. You inquire about sustenance, and yet speak like a common thug. As for what sustains me, you would not comprehend its composition. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
For obvious reasons, this kind of obscenity isn't allowed. To make sure it doesn't happen again, Fortnite immediately released a hotfix to solve the issue. While we're adding several specific rules and instructions as part of the guardrails to prevent Darth Vader from swearing or repeating swear words, in this instance, our filters did not catch the specific variations of and expand. Blah. Our hotfixes address the word specifically, an Epic Games spokesperson told Decrypt. Yeah, see, you don't turn around and you give a bunch of people with a lot of time on their hands toys like this.
With exactly like with AI, it's just one of those things that people will just continue to really exploit and twist the rules and limitations.
Yeah, wasn't there a thing with it jailbreaking AI or something where you can get it to
Yes,
do things that it's not supposed to?
yes, they used to do that, and the most common way they really do this is the classic prompt injection.
Yeah. So, point of interest to everyone: AI is great as a tool to fuck around with, but yeah, it ain't exactly ready for being smushed into your operating system and being made a core requirement.
Especially
Shit's
when
gonna
you
get
know
interesting.
it can be tampered with
Oh yeah.
to those degrees, like especially like when you consider like you want to do something really nice and novel and use that voice, but for it to break character in that, yeah, that's when the thing just breaks.
The thing I'll be curious about is whether or not on PC if this is server side or client side.
Hmm. Right. Just makes you wonder. It
If it's
just makes you
server
wonder, doesn't it?
side,
Hmm.
it would require someone to breach the security of the servers and download the actual module. However, if it's client side, um, fuck.
Right. Because I mean, if it's actually installed on the files and all that, yeah, okay, then you might have a situation on your hands. But if
There are
it's
also services already out there where if you take enough recordings of something, it will duplicate its voice for you. So if you've
that
got a bit of time on your hands,
that's pretty much exactly what the whole using AI to synthesize somebody's voice and that is.
yep.
It's just it's just kind of crazy. We're at that point when when you can use AI and just anything can just come out of it, right? Like you can get characters to say whatever you really want it to and all that. It was done with a a fun intention in mind, but not when people always try and do people things like push the limits of what this thing is capable of. You know, or people people will always just want to dick around or and then just push the limits of it. Come on, it's a thing. It's a thing that's just always been what it is. So yeah. All right. So now we're going to go into this next item here that we've got here that we've got some time here. This was sent to us by another one of our folks in the group. Have a look at this. WizKids admits they missed the mark with Baldur's Gate 3 set of Dungeons and Dragons miniatures, now offering a full refund to those who are unsatisfied.
Baldur's Gate did what?
So they made these miniatures for a Dungeons and Dragons, and yeah. So you look at the one on the left. That's the one that they the from a supposed final product as seen on what's it called. But on the right is the actual get that that was delivered in the box.
What the hell?
Oh wow!
Right. Like what? Yeah, yeah. Like what just happened? Right. Right. What just happened? Did somebody basically like leave it into
I wonder who
leave
they
it in?
commissioned to make that.
Yeah. Like did somebody leave it in a thing for too long and the whatever it is basically
Huh?
like melted down? What the heck? Or how was it even? How did they even get around to this? How does something like this even pass QA, quality control? Like, what the heck?
Well, unfortunately, it depends on who they, what factory they went with, and you also got the issue of quality control.
Right, exact. That's exactly the thing.
And
Versus,
whether or not the factory that manufactured the demo ones, the ones they took photos of, uh, did the actual mass production. Because if you're a company that wants to produce action figures, there are multiple choices you can go with when it comes to manufacturing. Now, your base ones can be made by, say, a company that does, limited run of stuff, and then you could send it off to a place to do mass manufacturing,
hmm
and you get problems like this. Yay!
yeah, I mean, because prototyping is not the thing, and when it when it comes to the final product. But
Yay!
yeah, like just have a look at this. Like, have a look at what they got, like the other figurines of the other characters, and this is what actually shipped out of the box.
They look so mangled.
Oh my god! What did
I
someone
actually
put them in a freaking industrial sized microwave? Like, what the fuck is that?
You and I had the same thought. Like how did those things start like melting as if they were candles or something, among other things?
Like,
Did they get
welcome
like
to the world of tomorrow.
and did they
Sorry.
get like a kid, like a kid to do the painting job?
oh my god, it literally looks like some fucking kindergartner or some shit painted. Well, I don't know about that, but it's pretty bad.
It does look pretty bad, doesn't it? Looks
Yeah,
terrible.
I mean, yeah. Enough said. Like, just look at the thing. Like, look at the friggin' missed spots. The overall texture work. It's just, and it just makes you wonder, like, how did they all get dingo with the quality of the
Things
resin thing?
things need to have quality checked by someone,
hmm
like to make sure things look good and are done like properly.
Yeah, and not just that too, but with mass production, it's that thing. And you know what the worst part is the price tag for all of this that they had. Like, okay, like if you paid like $10-15, okay, maybe, but for $50 and you get this quality.
Hey, why are you arguing with the company? They did good. They provided you with a product that they wanted to sell, and you decided to buy it.
Right?
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Yeah,
Uh-oh, someone's in trouble.
common thing where you're at in your neck of the woods.
Huh?
Is that seem to be a common thing where you're at? Like the
I just
sirens
heard
blaring off.
I just heard sirens. I didn't know. I don't think that was us though.
Yeah, that
I
was
think it might be
mine. I live by a highway, so
Oh yeah, no, that's it's never fun. Highways and probably and that no, but really though, like in your experience, like when you buy figurines like these, a lot of the time you at least get them that's mass produced. Even if they are mass produced, at least them they are decently made, right?
but all the toys I've usually purchased from like the shops has been decent.
Yeah, the quality's there, the textures are there, the thingos are there, the colors are at least color reproduction is at least correct. But this,
that that was horrendous. I don't think I've
yeah,
ever seen anything that bad ever.
No, right, and even for like a game as popular as friggin' Baldur's Gate 3,
You mean one where they had sex with a bear on screen?
yeah, that the one that it actually, remember, I still get the gripes over it because it traumatized my cousin.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Just looking at those action figure designs alone just makes me want to cringe even more.
They're making
Right,
you think.
just one of those things, right? Like you would wonder, like, how do they do make or whatever such a thing like this, right? Like, because 3D printers have come well and away from what they used to be.
Oh yeah.
I know. And even then, like sculpting plastic figurines, the molds, yeah, right. You just gotta wonder, like, where did it all come from? To see, like, if it goes from this, if you can just go back from the source and then just bam, try and nip that out. Because at that point, it's just like, fuck, it is not worth the go. But yeah, no, like, me too, man. Like, I'd totally be bummed if I ended up getting such a thing, just like that.
I'd be calling the company and being like, I want my money back.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, and for that sort of thing, they actually did have to. They had to offer a full refund for such a thing because
oh
no,
wow.
you just can't. Nah, you just can't. Besides that, though, we've still got a couple of other what's it called? Other bits and bobs here that we've that's kind of been happening and we've kind of got room to talk about while we are here. So that, I mean, short of me going through all this other stuff because a lot of this stuff has just been here like with a skim. Um, I got another thing for you. You guys remember like when they announced the whole live action thing of another Disney movie, Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no. What is it?
Oh, it's out. They
Oh, I know that.
they made a couple of artistic changes of the plot line to start with.
Well, going through live action, you'd expect some changes, but from what I understand, they sort of buggered it up.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like why fuck this whole thing up?
right. Like
Couldn't leave it alone.
why make these sorts of liberties? Like because what you had to do is adapt the thingo that was from way back in the early 2000s. Because this is not something they're starting from scratch like Sonic the Hedgehog or Pokemon Detective Pikachu. But they're basically retelling 2020 an early 2000 story with a coat of live action paint on it. And for
Mm.
them to rewrite parts of the story, eh. No, remember this? Like, remember the part of the story where you still remember watching the original Lilo and Stitch movie?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I read something about racial slur. What the fuck?
Mhm. Yeah.
The so sorry. From what I understand, they changed a lot of the characters around as well, which didn't exactly help with the storyline itself. There were a couple of they changed the two aliens to generics. Now, it's been a while. I didn't actually fully go through this movie, but do you have anything on the human characters.
Oh, what about
The
Lilo's big sister
disguises those
Nani?
two aliens put on.
They changed her the worst because remember in the old movie, in the old original movie, she was basically going through the challenge of being Lilo's caretaker because of the whole the parents, because of the
Mm.
disappearance of her parents.
Yeah.
And yet, you know
That's
what they actually changed it to? Let's have a read
what?
of this thing here. In the films you take, rather than serving as Lilo's guardian, Nani instead accepts an offer by David's grandmother Tutu to leave her in their care so she can pursue her dream of studying marine biology at UC San Diego.
What
And
the fuck?
I don't think that was in the original story. Like Nani going to
It definitely
friggin'
wasn't in the
university.
original story at all. Like, what the fuck?
No. No, right? Like that is Stingo. And the weird part about this is, Lilo and Stitch was a movie that was built around what? Family, Ohana.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is this the thing that you kind of the message you kind of want to leave?
Apparently, it is.
Yeah, because God forbid, family is just whatever at this point, and and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think if I'm being really honest here, I think this is just one of those movies I'm gonna end up just passing on the wayside and like, nah. I think I'll stick to the original.
One of the big gripes I've seen online is the scene with the record player. Apparently, they have it, but Lilo's mother, caretaker, whatever, I don't care at
That's
the
Nani.
moment.
That's Kit.
She just is more distracted by her phone and ignores it, despite having the iconic scene in the actual original movie. They just decided to brush it aside. It's like, oh yeah, whatever, don't care.
That is so not a thing of its time. Like, seriously. But honestly though, but that aside though, like if you've gone around it though, like what did you think about the whole live actioning thing?
I might watch it. I'm not sure.
Right, like
Um,
just only for the if they have to see how they handled like turning Stitch into live action. If at
Yeah.
that, right?
I've seen bits and pieces of it, like when somebody was filming it on YouTube and putting it on YouTube. I was, I'm just like, yeah, this kind of looks bad.
Yeah.
I can already tell it kind of sucks. No,
Yeah, I'm just still being a lot iffy right now, especially with what Disney's been up to. Hence my, it's my regular, my reluctance for such a thing.
at this point, just rely on the fans to make fan films or something like that
Right.
because these are the ones who actually watch the movies and watch a series and then they
Yeah,
take it.
and honestly, like going through the classics and giving them the live action treatment again is just honestly.
Look, in this one, they actually nailed it quite well for the animation style.
Right.
It doesn't look like dog shit. It doesn't look like the Sonic movie, the first one they made, the one that didn't end up releasing.
Right, like before they went back to the drawing board.
The main two characters for it, they at least sort of hit it on the nail. That's how I have to say, is that they picked the right two main cast characters. The problem is they just sort of took everything else and spread it out a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm sorry, but the guy that goes around there to check out whether or not the kids the little crap.
Who, the
The
agent?
CIA
Bubbles?
agent they sent around.
Yeah, Bubbles.
Yeah, they should have kept him as the same. I'm sorry, but him as a skinny dude is just bad. I want to see this guy that could literally turn around and crush your throat with a hand.
Like, would you rather like they cast like Dwayne Johnson?
Not Dwayne Johnson, but someone like that, yes. And what was that guy in... Oh, he passed away several years ago now. Damn it. Anyway, look, there are plenty of characters that they could have had that are built like a bloody tank that they could have brought in. Instead, no, they had to go with this like skinny dude. It's like, seriously, what the hell?
Yeah, it's just a shame that it's like one of those many things that seem to have been lost in the translation to live action. Yeah, because there's just a lot of things. Yeah.
Apparently, they also took that character and split him into two individuals, so they just increased the cast. Just
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But as it stands, though, it's just unfortunately just what it is, and yeah. Well, not all. It seems like not all Disney movies seem to have been the big hit that it is, though. So we'll just.
they were so close.
I know.
They got the three main cast almost perfect, and then they had to screw up with everyone else.
Yep.
Yeah,
What happens?
they didn't really need to. They didn't really need to screw around with the script, man. And yet they did.
I would have loved to have seen that record scene play out as it did in the first movie. Because from what I've heard, it's just, yeah, she doesn't care. That's just ridiculous. I mean, if dropping her phone would have been funny. No, seriously. I mean, you walk in, Stitch is doing the record thing, and she just gasps and drops her phone. It's like, what the hell? That would have been funny, but apparently she just keeps looking at her phone and walks off. Disney, you're doing a mic pop situation here, like with the Lion King.
And I swear, some of those modern adaptations have really become the worst. But yeah. So aside from that, though, I'd say this is pretty much where I'm going to leave it at this point in time. So yeah. In spite of all this, though, like, what do you guys think about this week's stuff? You know, we had furries in high places get found out, and then some more. So, what do you guys think? Like, if you could like to make a quick closing statement.
I think that the furry politician that just got found out was not that surprising.
Yeah,
Because
right.
there was another one that got caught doing furry stuff. I think not too long ago. I forgot his name though, but it's
Yeah, I can't remember his name too. Like, I know it was a Vermont / or I think a Massachusetts one, and I know it went up in the news articles. It just, yeah, but to have not like your phone and that, right? Like, to not have secured your phone and all of that, right?
yeah.
Some
Yeah, I
people.
thought that was weird. And then for the since I mean I was a little away by the time because I was doing laundry, but now for the other topic regarding Lilo and Stitch, I think don't know what they were thinking remaking that, because nobody asked for that remake. Just like those other remakes, nobody asked for it, and then they're like, oh yes, we're gonna do a remake, whether they like it or not. It's like,
And we're gonna woke it up.
yeah,
I want to do a modern retelling of this story when I don't think it really needed it.
right. It's like, it's just, I have no other words.
Right. It's just like, why touch a friggin', a friggin' modern classic? It's called modern classic for a reason.
Right. Like,
Yeah, which means don't change it. You know.
good as it is.
Yeah. If somebody wants a sequel to it, or another sequel to it, they just have the fans do like a sequel to it or something like that. Have the fans make a fan film about it. Not like not a at least, because the fans would know what the what what the film is,
Yeah,
because
but you'd also have to
they,
keep the original thinger, Chris Sanders, on board.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly. I mean,
Exactly. And what about you, Noble?
Well, let's start from the beginning, shall we? With doxing yourself when you're a government official. Not the best idea in the world, but whatever. The whole Switch 2 thing, I am so glad I decided a long time not to buy the bloody thing because yowza! Yeah, seriously, can you imagine day one if someone figures out how to breach Nintendo services and brick every console that gets activated on the first day?
Yeah, and then nobody has a working Switch too.
Darth Vader basically shows why you literally don't fuck around with shit like this. The best. Sorry. The whole AI thing is just laughably ridiculous to me with how it's been taking off, despite it being a new technology that still needs to be properly researched and developed. I mean, I had no idea that product. I got the idea that games were being released in a fashion where they were incomplete. AI completely takes that out of the storm. But the fact that they released this technology that can be screwed with so easily, as I understand, the people who own the rights to Dark, the actual character, sorry, the actor, his estate sort of thing, is suing Fortnite for this apparently, which I thought was great. I had no idea about the Baldur's Gate thing. I mean, the literal shittiest piece of crap that you can ever imagine. I seriously wonder how much they invested in those photos for the figurines, and then just what bottom of the barrel budget toy manufacturer they went to ship that stuff out. Yikes! Lilo and Stitch, they Disney almost had their Super Mario Brothers movie. They almost had it. If they were able to do a carbon copy of the characters, if they were able to do majority of the scenes, if they were actually able to do something that was more heartfelt than what they released, it could have been better. But unfortunately, with what I've heard, some of the things I've seen regarding the movie, I'm not going to go see it at the cinema. No. Sorry, but you had the opportunity to do something good and you slapped out a turd. Thank you, Disney. I wonder how many more of these movies they're going to actually release like this before they realize that they're fucked. That's all I have to say.
The live action adaptations will continue until morale improves.
So it sounds like it ain't improving anytime soon.
So, yeah. Alright. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did making this show. As always, you can find our episodes on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Plato FM, iHeartRadio, BitChutes, and more. And that's all we've got for the week. Thank you, and see you next time.
So, yeah. Bye.
Bye.